Hi everybody, Kevin here from Team JACoB, and today I wanted to show a quick screencast showing how we use JACoB to actually build the JACoB website. So here is our marketing page. I have another screencast showing how I built this using JACoB. This just kind of has a static overview of how JACoB works, what JACoB can do. Actually, here's that video here if you wanted to watch that. And so, we built all this out in a little over an hour using JACoB to do all of this work for us. And what we want to do today is we got some new designs from our designer that we want to implement to actually help with the sign-in process and getting JACoB set up in a self-service manner. So the way this works is we have our initial sign-in page, and then we have this quick setup where you can go through these 4 steps. Our designer provided a few, intermediate states of what this looks like as you kind of progress through this. You get these little check marks. When you're done, you have all checks, and then you move on to your final page, where there's a few more things to do. We have a tutorial, a design partner white paper. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off. We'll start from scratch here, and we'll start with this first page here. This is our sign up page. And what we want to do, what's interesting is actually we want to do something a little bit different here. Instead of having a name and email, we're already using GitHub. So let's just use the login with GitHub functionality and just make that a lot simpler for people so they don't have to enter any extra information. I could go back to our designer and ask them to make an update here. But, one of the nice things about JACoB is you can just kind of make some of these changes on your own. Okay, so JACoB is connected to my GitHub accounts, and I've given it access to our website here. And in this case, let's make a new page. We'll just call this sign up. We'll make this a full page. You could have this be a little separate component, but for our purposes, this is good enough. And then here's where we want to give some additional instructions. All right. So think about this as if you were assigning this to a junior dev on your team. You want to give it all the information it needs to actually implement this. So just tell JACoB to use that and wire that up. Let's see when the user signs up. We want to say where to go next. So we're going to call this next page. We'll call this, let's just call this setup. To the setup page is in here. Please show the error to the user. What else can we do here? I think this looks pretty good. All right. So one thing, make sure you select whatever it is that you want to design. In this case, we've got this little preview here. And let's just kick this off. Okay. So JACoB's going to work on that in the background. In the meantime, one of the nice things here is we can just move on to this next design here. And so for this one, we actually have a few different things we want to do. So first of all, we want to install the GitHub app. There's a configuration script, Figma plugin, and Discord. So let's get some links to all of these things. I've already gone out and gotten most of these. So here's the app. Link to the app here. We're going to do the same thing we did before. Let's grab, in this case, let's actually make this a separate, let's make this a separate component. Let's start here with this little Spotify component. We'll add this in here and we'll call this, let's just call this playlist. Run that plugin again. Okay, so our website, call this playlist. This will be a component here. So for this, we actually want to show the embedded Spotify player. Do not actually design those out. Here are the links to the playlists. Okay, and then I've got a couple here. Here's my favorite, her soundtrack. A little bit long, but that's okay. Right, we got this is the one, this Lo-Fi Girl. Add that there. And Bardcore. Can't have a playlist without some Bardcore. Let's that off there. Thank you, Siri. Okay. All right. And that looks good in the preview. Let's write the code for that. Okay. Now, let's see what we want to. So a few things here. First of all, let's make this page here set up. And we need to grab this link to the GitHub bot. I'll copy this while we're waiting here. All right, in the background, we're creating this issue. And we're going back and forth. It's doing quite a few things there. So it's probably actually pulling in these images. And let's see, I'm not sure if JACoB will be smart enough to ignore that or it will try to build that out. Let's see. Let's find out. All right. So next we want to get this setup page going. And so this here, we'll call this setup. This will be a page. Okay, so we want to do a few things here. This will be pretty lengthy, and that's okay. You can add as much as you want here. And actually, let's do something a little bit different. So instead of just choosing this one screen, what we actually want is, can I group all these? Yeah. So these are all grouped together. I actually want to show each of these to JACoB so that JACoB knows what each of these states looks like. And so, is this selecting? I'm not sure. Preview. I want to grab this whole thing. There it is. Okay, so now showing up. Okay, so it's called setup. This is a page, and let's give a lot more information. Okay. All 4 stages are complete. Advance to the we're gonna call this finished. Let's go. Okay, please include the list. And let's see here. Actually, let's not do this now because by the time this kicks off and starts building, that playlist component isn't actually going to be in our repository yet. So for now, let's just ignore that. We can always add that later. And let's do this. Let's add in the links. For the first stage, user will be asked to install the app. Link to the app is here. For the second stage, Okay, so that looks good. That looks good. Let's start writing code. Okay, so we got that issue going here. I think that's how that's supposed to go. I might need to discuss that with our. So that looks good. Okay, done. Yeah, we need to think through that exact thing there, but that's okay. And now we're going to do this final page here. So a tutorial. Oh, I don't know if we have that Figma file tutorial. Let's find that real quick. This is just a docs.cp. We've got a quick start here. You guys can check this out. This has all the information in it. I just want to try to simplify this down. All right, here it is. Here's our little tutorial Figma that we can use. Okay. Let's make a new page. Let's just run this. Okay, now let's do this. And what did we call this one? Finished, I think it was called. Terrible name for a page. All right. Great. Do we have anything here? Bizarre. That sounds good. Okay, we'll start writing code there. Okay, so you can see here, just a few minutes, we were able to just go through this design and, talk through kind of what we wanted. And then as we switch over to our issues, you can just come in here and start to code review some of these and start to, pull these in, and then we can kind of try this out on our site. So let's take a look at these real quick here. Here's our JACoB website. And sure enough, we've got a couple of things here. So we've got our first JACoB issue. Anytime you install JACoB on a new repo, you get this little note that tells you that either it was built successfully or not. And part of JACoB behind the scenes is a CI system. And so you really do need to make sure everything's set up properly. And we'll notify you if there's issues. You can go to the docs and try to clean that up. But JACoB right now is kind of tailored for Node projects, specifically works really well with NextJS and TypeScript. And we're still kind of working on other frameworks. But that just kind of gives you a hint as to whether or not JACoB is ready to go. All right, so here's our sign up page. All right, so we're doing a few interesting things here already, I can see. So sure enough, we're using NextAuth. We've got our next router to be able to do this. Sign up. That looks pretty good. So this is about what I would expect to see with NextAuth. You call sign in. We're using GitHub. If you get a URL, I'm not sure about that. We should go to our specific URL, but that's okay. I think we'll see if JACoB's able to correct that issue as we go. All right, so it looks like JACoB had some comments, and we have a pull request already. This is great. It looks like this built okay, and everything looks pretty good. Okay, so we've got our files here. Right, and sure enough, so we fixed this here. We're moving on to setup. We're signing in with GitHub. We've got all of our things set up here. Just going to take a quick look at this. It's nice because we've got responsiveness here already. So this is going to be this is going to be a column screen. If it's mobile, it'll be full screen if it's on a desktop, which is great. This is exactly what we want. And then it had to kind of build its own. This is interesting. It had to build its own button here. And I want to show something subtle but really important. Notice what it used for its background. Okay, violet beer card. Sure. And notice we use beige here. Okay. Now let's go look back. It's actually set up in our Tailwind config. I just set this up. We have this violet beer guard here. We got a few different colors. We got our beige, and notice how JACoB, JACoB understands our full code base. And so one of the advantages here is you get these custom colors that match exactly the colors from our designer. This is the type of thing that just takes a lot of time to go back through and try to fix and adjust little tweaks. But this is just all set up, perfectly, thanks to all the work that's going on behind the scenes with JACoB. Okay, so this looks good. Let's go ahead and pull this in. Deployment failed. All right. Well, we'll pull this in. We'll see what's going on with that deployment in just a minute here. In the meantime, let's see what we got here. Compile. Okay, so we have I see. So this is a linting issue. No floating promises. Sure. That's fine. We'll go through and we'll correct that locally. But for now, this looks good enough. We can pull this in. Still kind of work in progress, so it's okay to just pull these in live. All right, and then let's close these issues just so we know what's going on here. Okay, we got those two done. We got our playlist component. This is interesting. Let's see what we actually got done here. Okay. And we got, in this case, notice we have 4 files. Because it's a component, we actually created this storybook story for it, which is kind of cool. Let's see what we got here. We got Bardcore. So it looks to me, instead of actually pulling these in like I asked as an embedded Spotify playlist, it's actually doing these images and doing it this way. We'll try this out. I don't love this. I wish it would have embedded that, but it's asking a little bit much. We can always do a code review there. But for now, I think that looks pretty good. Let's pull that in. Right. So that's merged, and close that out. Now let's check out our setup. It's closed. Okay, one thing we should do these uppercase, lowercase actually matters for Next, so we should change those to lowercase. So there's a lot more stuff going on here. Let's just jump ahead to the pull request for the setup. And one thing, this is still kind of work in progress. JACoB takes some time behind the scenes to build this out. But part of what happens, especially with the more complex thing, is JACoB will try something. It'll try to build it. If it doesn't work, it'll throw an error. It'll keep going. And it uses those error messages as a way to keep improving upon the code over time. And so you can see here, what do we have going on here? Yep. So these are just minor things. We have a type error here where, we didn't type this step index. I mean, this is clearly going to be a int, but that's fine. So it's going to work on this build error behind the scenes. But this is good, right? Like, you want this thing to be following all of your coding conventions so that when that code comes out, there's no tweaks or something you have to do. It should just be ready to go. Now, of course, there's going to be little things that you might need to adjust here and there. But we're really trying to get it as close as possible. And this is kind of nice. So let's just kind of look at this code real quick. We're using a router. We're keeping a state here. And this all looks pretty good. Okay, so let's leave this here for a second. I'm going to pause, and we'll come back when this has been completed. Okay, so we're back here, and wanted to show the setup. It looks like we have some new code here. So let's take a look at what was created here. All right, so it looks like this built okay. And we basically have our steps here. Join Discord. Okay, this looks pretty reasonable. Okay. So let's go ahead and merge this again. Let's take a look at this. This might just be floating promises. That's okay. So that's just a linting thing. We can fix that pretty easily. And let's go ahead and merge that in. Okay. And so the last one here, we've got our finished page. This is closed. This one's a little bit more straightforward. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Okay. Cool. So we got this white paper click. Got this little mail to there. That's cool. This is all good. So our tutorial takes you there. Cool. This looks good too. So let's go ahead and merge this in. Okay. Now, of course, you could go through and you could grab each one of these issues, branch by branch. You could also, in this case, I'm pulling directly into main. You could set this up to pull into staging if this is, more of a production site. But in this case, I think this is fine. Since all this code is kind of separate and this is all net new and not something that is affecting anything else. And okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this code, and we're probably gonna have to go through, make a few little adjustments here. So first of all, we've got our site running somewhere here, localhost. Yep. Okay, so this is our JACoB site, as you saw earlier. And let's go ahead, and we're already on main. Where we're at. Let's pull down and let's see what we got. Okay, so we got a few things here. One thing real quick right off the bat. I'm going to rename this. Should have been a lowercase s. Since this is a page, we don't want our pages to be case sensitive. And then let's see here. What do we do? Oh, we got this playlist thing with the stories. You know what? That's okay. So let's start with our sign up. I'm curious to see if this actually works. So what are we saying here? This was that. Yeah, they want that to be, that's fine. That's such a minor thing. Okay. Cool. That's a linting thing. Oh, wait. This is here. It is. Yeah. Okay. No, I think. Oh, here we go. Wait, that's what it is. Okay, cool. That looks pretty good. Let's make sure all this stuff is going to the right place. So we sign up, then we go to setup. When setup is done, we want to go to finished, and then here's finished here. Congratulations. What's all this about? Yeah, next image. No, thank you. Cool. All right, so this all looks good. Let's start with the sign up. Let's see if this actually works. So, just as a note, we are using NextAuth here, and so part of NextAuth, I use a thing called T3 to set this up. It's really nice. It lets you just kind of automatically set up, a bunch of things such as your auth and Tailwind and Storybook, and gets everything just kind of all configured and set up for you by default, which is pretty nice. And you get this little NextAuth thing here. In this case, I did go ahead of time. I had to grab the GitHub information so that we could sign in with GitHub. So I did add that beforehand. I think by default it comes with Discord maybe, but added that. And then there was like a little change, I think, here. I set up my database, a few things here. For Discord, you need to set this here. So if you're following along and want to try something like this, make sure you get a few little tweaks in there. But otherwise, let's see if this works. Okay, so we're a localhost, and we're going to try our sign up page. And, so first of all, we've got this here. We have access to beta. Don't love that code is beige. That dark beige does not look dark beige. I think that's the problem. Let's make sure that our dark beige color is set properly. So that actually might not have been yeah, look at that. I think that's the wrong color. What color we got here? Oh, this is Zinc 500, technically. But let's take a look at that. See if we can get that dark beige. Missing fonts. I'm not a Figma person, so let's see if we can figure this out. Dun, 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 dun. Let's give it to me. Well, let's just use the Sync 500. But I think, yeah, let's go ahead and pull this up. So we missed that one thing there. 500, there it is. Okay. Okay, that looks better. So we got this, and remember here, so the design's a little bit different, right? But we told it. We wanted it to remove all this stuff and change that into a, sign up with GitHub. Let's see what happens. The GitHub. Oh, we're already using the GitHub sign up. Okay, so technically we signed up there. That might work when we go. How do we set this up? I think I would have set something up to redirect to localhost here. On page there. Nothing yet. That's okay. But in theory, that will take us to the handle of sign up. You know what? This is a little bit wide for me. So that looks a little bit better. Okay, cool. Just made that a little bit tighter, especially for larger screens. And actually, interesting to see what happens when we go mobile. And sure enough, we get a nice mobile version of this. So that looks great. So one of the nice things about using the system is you do get that responsiveness right out of the box, which is quite slick. Okay, so what's our next thing? Let's go to our setup page. Setup. All right. So first of all, let's just test this stuff out. So we got to our GitHub thing. We can run this command. It's fine. Let's look at our Figma plugin. Is it set up properly? Yep, sure is. And Discord. Yes, everything's wired up. Okay, cool. So little tweaks to do here, but I mean, it's actually not too bad. Let me bump that Figma thing down. Where was that? Here it is. The button. Why is this? Let's just make this. Let's try this here. Okay, I'm just trying to do a simple thing here. Okay. All right, cool. Inline flex. Okay, cool. So we got that down there. That is complete. Join Discord. Let's add, you know what, we're missing, this is that thing where we were missing that mark as complete button. So let's add that there. Okay, and then there we go. Great. And this actually looks pretty good. This is pretty similar to what we had with our congratulations. We have our tutorial. That's nice. It's got a little link there. Great. Get in touch. This is mail too. Hey, look at that. Well, let's not look at my email. Where are we at here? Become a design partner, and then the paper we don't have in place yet, but this actually looks pretty good as far as this page goes, which is, you know, as expected, this is fairly straightforward. All right, so yeah, so overall, I think this looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and push this up, and I think we are good to go. So just to show how straightforward it is to use JACoB to, you know, build out not just front-end designs, but also to get everything wired up and working properly. You guys can check this out for yourself. This is available on the JACoB site. We'll update the main page and change that waitlist to a sign up here just in a minute, and you guys can try it out and let me know what you think.